Hi guys, Xavier here bringing you a brand new video. And in today's video we are doing a Sylvia deck profile. Um, I'm also using a different laptop this time around, so hopefully everything works out. I've been having problems with my other one, so hopefully this one will work better. But continuing on, this is my Sylvia deck profile, and I hope some of my ideas will help you out. So let's get right to it. Obviously, we are starting out with our Sylvia. Very good card because you pretty much have red and green. You have access to red and green as long as you have a fire magic stone. So that's really helpful. And then once you once you have judgment, you have our other side, our dragon side of Sylvia. Has 1,000, and pretty much has swiftness and flying, which is always great. And its main ability is, when you really want to bring it out, is to hit a resonator for 1,000 damage for free, pretty much. And if the resonator you damage dies this turn, you get to recover 3 of your stones, which normally happens anyway. My biggest complaint is pretty much once this is on the field, you lose all your fire magic stones, lose its ability to produce green, and also Black Moonbeam sucks. So there's that. Over here. Next, we'll cover the Magic Stone deck that I'm using. First off, we have 4 Magic Stones of Blasting Waves. This also produces wind and fire. And you ask, why don't I just use, like regular fire magic stones? And the reason pretty much is if this is on the field, I still want to have access to my green. And this still counts as a fire magic stone and a wind magic stone. So, yeah, we have 4 of those. Then we run 3 magic stone of Scorched Bales. I do run very little dark in this deck. In the main deck, and then I have some splashed in on the side. So that's why they're pretty much in here, and 3 is fine. I don't really want to go up to 4. I get it enough at 3, so 3 seems like the magic number for this card for my build. Then we just have 3 regular fire magic stones, pretty much essentially giving us 4 magic stone of Blasting Waves. So that is the magic stone deck. We'll move this aside and we will head on to the resonators of the deck. And first off, for our resonators, our 1-drops, we have 4 Ruck Egg. This is your searcher of the deck. You pretty much really need to run 4 of this, because once this card dies, you get a fire resonator from your deck and add it to your hand, which is amazing. This card's main combo, I would say at least, is with our 4 Guinevere, the Jealous Queen. Pretty much if you rest your Guinevere, you can banish one of your own resonators, and you draw 2 cards, and then discard a card. This is a main combo. You really want to use it with Ruck Egg if you can, but draw power is always good. So those are my 1-drop resonators. Our 2-drops, we'll start off with for the Little Match Girl. This card's almost become the main resonator I go to with this deck. You really just dominate the field with this card. Pretty much what this card does is it's just a 2-drop 600/600, which is decent in and of itself. And it's got 2 awakenings, which pretty much do the same thing, but from different areas. And what I mean by that is, the first awakening is you can pay X of any color, and you can search your main deck to add any of the magic matchsticks from your deck and put them to your hand. And the second one is you do the same thing, but it's from your graveyard, and that's just very, very good. So I definitely have 4 of those because it's gotten me out of more stuff than probably anything else in this deck, and it really, really works well with our 4 Lancelot. Lancelot is, again, it's a 2-drop, 600, 600. And, oh, before I forget, you can discard a magic matchstick with this card, this is what makes it so good. You discard a magic matchstick with this card, and you deal 400 damage to a resonator. And you can use that as many times as you want, as long as it's in your hand. You don't have to rest your little matchstick girl or anything, and that's what makes it so very good. And then we come back to our Lancelots. Easily one of the best 2-drops in the game right now. It's got swiftness, which is always good. You can, by paying a fire magic stone, you can boost his attack up by 100. And its main thing is, if this card's got over 1,000 attack, and you attack with it, it deals 700 damage to a resonator. So that's very, very good. That's a very strong card. So yeah. Our last 2-drop resonator, we have Hector Damaris, the Acolyte of Mad Demon. I just call it Hector. I don't normally actually read the entire effect. But this pairs really well with your Lancelot. It actually costs 1 less if you have Lancelot on the field. And if you play it, you can give one of your resonators 400 power. 400 attack, yes, until the end of the turn, which is very helpful. Plus, it gives you a resonator on board, which I like. So that's why I run it. I normally pair it with Lancelot, especially if I can't get one of my other cards to power it up yet. So, very good card. We'll head on to our 3-drops. And first off, we have Priscia, Pursuance of Exploding Flames. This is a very good card. It's a 3-drop with 700, 400. It has swiftness, target attack, and first strike. And then for an extra wind magic stone, you can give it flying, which is completely insane. And then to top that off, if your opponent kills your Priscia, or I believe if you kill it yourself, one way or another, you deal 500 damage to your opponent, which is just awesome in general. Then our last resonator of the deck, we have Keeper of the Past Earther. We have 2 of those. You don't really, in this build, you don't really use the last effect, which powers himself up if you have enough cards in your Remove from Play pile, but you can. It's impossible with my build unless your opponent somehow is removing a lot of your cards from the graveyard from play. The main part of this card is you can remove from play from your graveyard up to 2 cards, and you can destroy one of your opponent's resonators whose cost was equal to or less than what you remove from play from your graveyard. So definitely a removal, definitely a very strong card, so definitely got to run those. So that's it for our resonators. We will now head to our spells. Well, we'll do our Regalia first. I run 3 Interdimensional Vessel Apollo. This really pairs well with Little Matchstick Girl, which I used to only run like 1 of these, then I wound up going to 2. Then I eventually wound up going to 3 with this deck just because I felt this card was just so good. Pretty much it gives your Little Matchstick Girl a free awakening, because for an awakening cost you can produce a moon by resting your Regalia. And the other part of its effect is if you rest it, you can banish your card and return one of your resonators to your hand, which is also extremely good because you can reuse your Little Matchstick Girl the next turn if need be, and that just really helps. It also gives our J-Ruler flying, but he already has that, so you don't really use this card for that effect. Then our other Regalia we run 2 of the Leviathan, the Demon Swords. Essentially, you just use this card to give your card Imperishable, And again, your Sylvia already has swiftness, so you don't need that part of the ability. But being able to have imperishable and potentially producing a fire magic stone, which I have used before, you can discard another leviatine from your hand to the graveyard to produce a stone, a fire magic stone, will, and yeah, that's just very good. So that's the regalia. It doesn't really help the J ruler too much in some of the main aspects, but that's okay. It really works. Now we're going to go to our 1-drop spells, and we'll start off with our 4 magic matchsticks. You're usually going to be discarding this card, but there's also the other ability you could potentially use to combo off with your little matchstick girl. Basically, for 1, you can add, this is an addition, so you just add it to your resonator, and it gains swiftness and first strike, which can potentially be very good. I've swung for game because of this, so we have those. Our next 1-drops are our Necromancy of the Undead Lords, if I can grab them here. Pretty much, this is the only dark that I run in the main deck, which is why I run our Scorched Bales in the Magic Stone deck. Pretty much gives your resonator 200/200, but if this card's in your graveyard, you can, if you summon a resonator and this is in your graveyard, you just add it to your resonator, which is very good because it's very annoying to get rid of, especially if you have 2 in the graveyard and you give it to your Lancelot, which is what you normally want to do. It's very strong and very easy to get into the graveyard with Guinevere, but you can't always count on Guinevere, so that's why I run the Scorched Bales, because it's only a 1-drop, and you can just add it right from your hand to the card. And if the card were to die, it'd still go to the graveyard and you'd be able to reuse it again anyway. So next up, we have our 3 Demon Flames. I know this card's kind of fallen out of favor with some people. A lot of people I don't see really running it as much anymore. But I still say this is a very, very good card. It deals 500 damage to one of your opponent's resonators, or if there's damage done to it already, you just kill it, automatically. And I find that to be very, very good in a lot of situations, and this card always helps me, especially getting rid of your opponent's Wind Sprites or your Moonbreeze Elves, which have been showing up a lot lately, or a lot of fairies in general. This has just been really strong against them. So we have one last 1-drop, and we run 1 Rapid Growth. Pretty much an instant, give one of your resonators 400/400 at the end of the turn. And it also has Remnant, so you can reuse it again from the graveyard. So potentially you can get 800 attack in 1 turn if need be. So I definitely still run one of these. And we have one last spell in the deck, and it's actually a 3-drop. And that's Flame Trap. This is one of the new cards from Battle for Ataraxia. And it's just very good. I know there's a Interdimensional Escape, which is a really great field clearing card, but since I don't run lights in this deck at all, this is actually quite a good replacement. This is pretty much a chant standby, which you could use, and if you control a fire magic stone, you can activate it for free, which is pretty good. And this card pretty much just deals 800 damage to all resonators your opponent controls. And that's it. I mean, 800 damage is quite a lot, so that'll probably take out quite a bit of your opponent's field. Maybe not their boss monsters, but a lot of their small, cannon fodder stuff would go away. Plus, their stronger stuff, their defenses would be really low, so they might not want to block with them that turn. So this card comes in quite handy. I run more in the side deck, which we'll get to here next. And I really like this card, but I only main one right now because that's all I feel like I need at the moment. So now we can head on to our side deck. First off, we run just 1 Death Scythe, the Life Reaper. You pretty much just use this in this deck to make your opponent lose Imperishable and Swiftness. It's just overall a good card. And there's no resonators in my side deck for this deck. Next up we have 4 Wall of Wind. Pretty much force your opponent to have to pay an extra cost for their spell that they use. Good card in general. If you time this correctly, you can just stop your opponent's card. So, good card. Next up, because we are running our Scorched Bales, I do run 2 Barrier of Shadow. Just hold your opponent out a little bit longer. This pretty much forces your opponent to pay 1 extra for Judgment or God's Art abilities, or to activate Regalia abilities. So, very good card to have to slow your opponent down. And it's a 1-drop, so it's not that hard whatsoever to play. We run 3 Wind Secluded Refuges. This is a field spell. You drop it onto the field. You draw a card right then and there. And then when your opponent uses an ability or targets you, you can banish this and stop it. Next up, we have another new card. We have 2 Blood Boil. This card has 3 effects, which is deal 600 damage to your opponent, or you stop your opponent from gaining life, or you can give your opponent 800 attack, but it'll die at the end of the turn. So there's a lot of versatility in this card, but I don't feel like it's quite a main deck card. I tend to side it against the life gain decks, which I've been seeing a lot of, and it's been really helpful against them, which is the main part I use. But there has been a couple games where I've actually won because I've had Blood Boils. I had both of them in my hand, and they had less than 1,200 life points left, and you just wipe them out that way, which is also completely fine. Next up, we have 1 Black Moonbeam, because, again, I said we are splashing some dark in the side deck. And if I'm splashing dark, you're going to want to run that card, because your opponent can't chase to it, and it destroys your opponent's Resonator. And it costs only 2, and it's an instant. So you can't not use that card. And last but not least, Flame Trap. I've already gone over this. I run 2 extra in the side deck, because just sometimes it's just too good against certain decks to not use. And I really just like this card in general. This is probably my favorite fire card from the new set. I mean, it probably is. It might be my favorite card of the set, but I might be biased because I haven't really been able to use some of the other cards yet. But I really like Flame Trap a lot. It really is helpful. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope this deck build has helped you. I don't believe in net decking, but if some of my ideas can help you out, you know, that'd be awesome. I mean, that's the point of me making these videos, is for us to help each other out, because I'm always up for constructive criticism for my decks too. I'm always looking for help. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching, and you all have a wonderful day.